Good morning, class. Welcome to our Week 3 lesson, The Elements of Business Models. After the topic discussions, you are expected to explain business models, identify the key elements of business models, and describes the e-commerce enabler. The business model. At the root of the business model, it is an image of how or the organizations makes money. It is a summary of how to give the consumers the value of an acceptable cost. So meaning it is an organization strategy for generating profits and sales. It contains aspects of the business and tasks such as the expenditures. And due to the speed of technological advancement, IT is still a completely a new era. The streams of business model. The business model can be considered as the combination of the three streams: the value stream, the logical stream, and the revenue stream. The value streams. If we say value streams, this is creating a value flow or knowing the value of the customer's product or service. Value streams also generated to avoid confusion in the planning and execution of a project. Class, the value stream is divided into two. We have the Lean and also we have the Six Sigma. In Lean, value stream mapping tool is a tool for evaluating the current state and planning a future state for a series of events that carry a product or service to the customers from the beginning. While the Six Sigma is a data-driven approach that is designed to remove the process flows, meaning the target is to push the 6 standard deviations from the mean to the nearest specification marks. The Six Sigma's scope ranges from manufacturing to transactional. So meaning from product to service. It was designed to optimize the business process by substantially reducing the probability of mistakes or a defect. How about the Lean? If we say Lean, this focuses on reducing the waste, while the Six Sigma emphasizes on reducing the variability. It achieves its goal by using fewer technological methods such as Kaizen, management of workplace, the visual controls, whereas the Six Sigma prefers to use the statistical data analysis, the experiment design, and the hypothesis testing. Class, the logical stream. The logical stream is raising transaction costs from both the viewpoint of the seller and the buyer. The e-commerce has a variety of ways to streamline the procurement process. First, to remove the inefficiency in the paperwork and coordination that arise in ordering process. And then we have the second, by using the procurement strategy such as the online bidding, so it reduces the degree of information asymmetry. And then finally, this monopolistic tendency process has allowed the companies to shorten the supply chain. Revenue streams. Revenue streams are the building block reflecting cash, which is not income, which is a revenue minus cost from each consumer segment that a business produces. It can have the several pricing structures such as the fixed list prices. We have the negotiating, auctioning, dependent on the demand, and the dependent on the volume of the dependent on yield. A revenue stream is a source of revenue of a company or organization. Plus, there are 7 types of revenue streams, and one of them is the selling asset or the asset sale. It is the most widely utilized mainstream business. So you sell something and your customers buys it and can do with it what they please, use it, resell it, or even destroy it. It also happens when someone sells their company or forms a new one with another organization. And then the second one is the fees for usage or the usage fees. The usage fees revenue stream is when a company makes money of how often someone uses their service. So, meaning, for example, a cell phone company in general will charge you based on how much data you use and how many phones are you on your plan. So, that is an example of a usage fee. Then we also the subscription fees. This is a revenue stream that is generated by someone purchasing ongoing access to your product or service. So the good example of this is the Netflix, the membership, and the Spotify. Next, we also have the renting, leasing, and lending. This is a revenue stream which is built by temporary use of the asset by a customer for a fixed period of time. So the best example of this is the Airbnb, the Turo, and the Zipcar. So all are allows you to use something for a specific time period. So this is another type of a revenue stream that works off the benefit of the recurring income. While you might not always have someone using your product, when they do, you're typically able to make an enough to more than cover the expenses. Next is the licensing to third parties. This is happen when the owner of the content keeps the copyright but allows the third parties to use their content for a fee. Examples of licensing that can be found in photography and music, where the people pay the owner a fee to use their work, which is often based on how many views or listens it will get. Next is we have the brokerage fees. This mainstream makes money due to essentially matchmaking people with other people, which means people with companies. So the good examples of this is the real estate agent and the real estate brokers. And last is the advertising fees. The advertising fees is the revenue stream that makes you money by taking fees for showcasing a product or a service or even a brand on your online or offline property. Example of this is you could be placing your Google AdSense on your websites, selling sponsorships on your podcasts, and etc. So the price could also be a feature of the dependent or a customer. The elements of business models. We have the value proposition. We also have the revenue model, the market opportunity, competitive environment, competitive advantage, market strategy, organizational development, and management team. The value proposition. This seeks to solve a customer problems that satisfy the customer needs with a value proposition. So normally it answers the question, why should a customer buy from you? Because this is the primary reasons wherein someone would buy a prospect from you. So it explains how the company solves or enhances the consumer issues, provide unique advantages, and tells the perfect customers why they should buy from you and not from the competitors. How about the revenue model? The revenue model answers the questions, how will you earn money? It is a financial profit of generating system. So this determines which source of revenue to speak, the value to give, and how to price the value, and who is paying for that value. So this is a central component of a business model for an organization. Market opportunity and competitive environment. What market space do you intend to serve and what is its size? So it defines what market room for the organizations to fill and the size of that room. So it is essentially referred to the expected market space of the enterprise and the total future financial resources available to the enterprise in that market room. How about the competitive environment? Competitive environment answers the questions, who else occupies your intended market space? So it identifies the direct and indirect rivals in the same market. The additional details, for example, includes how big they are, how about how big their net income, and their market room share, and the price of their product. So this influenced by the number and size of the active competitors, each competitor's market share, competitors' profitability, and competitors' pricing. So that is competitive environment. How about the competitive advantage and the market strategy? Competitive advantage answers the question, what special advantages that your firm bring to the marketplace. So meaning it identifies the factors that differentiates the business from its competition and that motivate the consumers to purchase the product or service of the company. So for instance, the company product or service may be cheaper or a better quality than its competitors. So it is a skill or a role that helps you to perform a better competitors. So in a competitive market, this is considered as the basis for productivity. In other words, the business that do not have any advantages can only compete on a cost. And then we have the market strategy, which answers the questions, how do you plan to promote your products or services to attract the target audience? Meaning, this defines how the company aims to reach the market, to retain the clients, to potential customers, to retain a target audience, such as the marketing, the goods, and services. So marketing strategy, it is a portion of your marketing plan that details the overall game plan on how the company can locate and retain their buyers or the clients. For your sales and marketing activities, your marketing plan depends on what you want to accomplish. So the marketing strategy ways includes the social media, the video tutorial, the blogging, the Facebook ads, and many more. How about the organizational development and the management team? Organizational development answers the questions, what type of organizational structures within the firm are necessary to carry out the business plan. So this illustrates what type of organizational processes that needs to be in place within the company to ensure that it is running smoothly and that all required work is done. So it is a mechanism that helps companies improve through strategy, influence, leadership, control, or job redesigned changes. So for example, the process of identifying of the roles with a company and the skills required to accomplish each job, as well as the process of recruiting and hiring the productive staff, describes how firm will organize work, which is typically divided into the functional departments. So as the company grows, hiring moves the generalist to specialist. How about the management team? The management team defines which kind of experiences and perspectives are important to the leader of the business. So for example, a strong management team may not be able to save a poor business model, but should be also able to change the business model and redefine the company. And a strong management team would also give the external investors, which has the good credibility. So that is management team. How about the e-commerce enabler? E-commerce enabler is a company that runs an online shopping platforms that enables the various merchants to search, purchase, and buy on the merchant's website. So the business provides the clothes, the technology, the travel, the lifestyle, the foods and drinks, the home and living, and the general goods deals and the discounts. So these are the enablers of e-commerce. The e-distributor, so it refers to a company which directs supplies, products, and services to individual businesses. E-procurement creates and sells access to the online digital markets. The business-to-business service or the B2B service providers makes money through a transaction fees, charges depending on the number of workstation using the service, or annual licensing fees. So it delivers a sophisticated range of sourcing and supply chain management to buying firms that enable businesses to cut supply chain costs and through reaching the economies of scale, so it can give the companies an even lower computing cost. So the scale economies are efficiencies arising from the rise of the company size. Exchanges and e-tailer. Exchanges, it is an independent digital electronic market where the suppliers and business buyers can exchange, while the e-tailer refers to a retail selling goods via the electronic transactions on the internet. So there are different variations on that, which includes the virtual market, the brick and clicks, the catalog merchants, manufacturer direct. So those are examples of the e-tailer. Social network and content provider. Social network provides an online community or a social network in which the people with a common interest can transact and share transaction content. So the revenue model is typically a hybrid combining the advertising, the subscriptions, the sales, and the transaction fees, and so on. If we say content provider, it is a supplier of information, presents data for external applications as one or more tables like those found in relational database. So meaning it employs a number of models including the advertisement, subscription, we have the digital product sales. So it distributes the quality of information such as the digital news, the music, the images, the videos, and the artworks. Content provider. And then we also have the portal and transaction broker. The portal is a website or a web page providing access or links to other sites. The revenue models are advertising, referral fees, transaction fees, subscription for premium services. So those are included on the portal. And then we have the transaction broker. The same legal and ethical requirements apply to transaction broker as a real estate agent representing the individual buyers and sellers. So it means that the revenue model is a transaction fees. The market creator and the service provider. Market creator use internet technology to build the markets, which bring together the buyers and the sellers. So usually, these are the sources that includes the eBay Incorporated, the liquidation.com. These are providers of resources. By offering a service or service providers make profits. The revenue model come from the transaction fees to merchants for access. So example of these are the Uber and the Priceline or an eBay. How about the service provider? It refers to a company that provides a subscriber's access to the internet, online services. Examples includes the Google Maps, the Gmail, and so on. So these are valuable, easy, time-saving, and cost-effective alternatives to conventional service providers, which are also a value propositions. So the revenue model includes the sales of services, subscription fees, advertisings, and sales of marketing data. So class, to summarize our lecture for this week, at the root of the business model is an image of how the organizations makes money. It is a business model that can be considered as the combination of the three streams: the value stream, the logistical streams, and the revenue stream. So it also consists of the elements of business model, which includes the value proposition, revenue model, market opportunity, competitive environment, competitive advantage. We have the market strategy, organizational development, and management team. So the e-commerce enabler, which operates an online shopping platforms that allows the different merchants to browse, purchase, and purchase on the websites of the retailer. So these are the references that you may use for further reading of the lectures that we discussed for this week. Thank you and good day.